Hey, I'm Michael Williams, and this is a countdown of the top 10 new features in ThinkCrew version 1.6. Starting off with number 10, Color Data Days. Version 1.6 brings color highlighting to the data days. This feature can be toggled on or off in the menu bar and helps draw your eye to important milestones in each row, making the date of days more readable. The highlighting for events like start, drop, pickup, and finish have special shapes that help visualize the beginning or ending of work periods. Number 9. Drag strips directly into the recycle bin. Now you can drag strips back and forth between the strip board and the recycle bin. The recycle button still works, but this gives you a more intuitive way to move strips around in your schedule. Number 8. The previous and next buttons scroll the strip board. The previous and next buttons are used to navigate the strip board when you don't feel like clicking on a strip. This new feature always keeps the selected strip on screen. This can be helpful if your selected strip is at the bottom of the screen. Clicking the next or previous buttons will always scroll the newly selected strip into view. Number 7. Publish Preview. One of the most requested features was a preview of the document you're about to publish. This new feature gives you a pixel-accurate rendering of what your document will look like when you're finished. It also updates as you make changes to your settings, so you always know what you're going to get. Number 6. The Split button. There's a new button in the stripboard menu bar, and it can be really useful in certain situations. Much like the Duplicate button, which simply creates an identical clone of a selected strip, this button will actually split your strip into parts. This could be handy for creating strips for both sides of a phone call, or any other scenario where you might need to part out a strip. The feature renames the scene number, adding parts to their names, and divides the page count and duration evenly between the strips. Everything else about the breakdowns remains the same, like the elements, description, and so on. The halfway point on our list brings us to Multiselect. This feature allows you to make changes to multiple strips in a way that's fast and really intuitive. Normally you'd select one strip and then make changes to its breakdown. By selecting 2 or more strips at the same time, your changes will now be applied to all of the strips at once. So imagine you want to add a character to a bunch of strips at the same time. Just select all of those strips and add that new character. Now that character is in all of those strips, and you didn't have to add them manually to each strip like you did in the past. Number 4 introduces the Find feature. When you want to find anything in your schedule, click on the Find icon at the top right of the stripboard menu bar. This gives you a lot of powerful new tools to find anything you'd like in your schedule. You can limit your searches to scene numbers, elements, the description, or just search all the fields in every breakdown. And when the feature finds what you've entered, it highlights all of the strips where that text was found. Now you could use the Multiselect feature to make changes to those strips all at the same time. It also utilizes the scrolling feature that the previous next buttons use, so your selected strips are always in view. The top 3 items on our list are all related to designing strips. Let's start with number 3, the Design Manager. A new addition to the menu bar, the Design Manager is the home for all of the new design features in ThinkCrew. This manager is divided into 3 tabs: Design, Layouts, and Palettes. A design is made up of multiple layouts and one palette. Each layout that you add to a design will represent one of each type of strip: regular strips, banners, and day strips. ThinkCrew 1.6 comes with a number of pre-made designs, layouts, and palettes, and of course you can make your own by either duplicating an existing design or starting from scratch. The Design Manager also gives you the power to share your layouts or palettes with other users. In fact, there's so much you can do with this manager that there are separate dedicated videos for the Design Manager and the last 2 items on our list, which takes us to number 2, the Palette Designer. You can launch this designer from the Palette tab of the Design Manager. Once inside a design, you can set the color values for any combination of the interior, exterior, or day-night elements in your schedule. Let's say you wanted to set a color for interior night. You just click the swatch at the intersection of those 2 elements and use the slider at the bottom to choose the hue. Then refine the brightness value at the top. And if you want to use that color in another swatch, you can copy the color value at the bottom and paste it into another color chooser. That's a handy way to maintain the same color values for multiple swatches. And last but certainly not least, at number 1 is the Layout Designer. There's another whole video dedicated to everything you can do with this designer, so I'll just cover the basics here. Each layout contains multiple boxes, and each box contains at least one field. But you can also add multiple fields to each box, which is handy for fields that should always go together, like for a slug line. That way, if you want to move that slug line around in your design, you'll always keep those related fields together. You can also preview your designs in real time using actual data from your schedule. And your strips can optionally be set to automatically resize themselves, so that, for instance, if you type a long description in your breakdown, your strip will adjust its size to fit what you've entered. Be sure to check out the full video in the Layout Designer, where I'll be covering all of its features. And that wraps up the top 10 new features of ThinkCrew. Which one was your favorite? Leave us a comment on YouTube or Facebook to let us know. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the new ThinkCrew.